Hey, thanks for stopping by Casks-n-Que, where whiskey and barbecue meet. I'm your host, Justin Lloyd, and today I have with me a special guest, my friend Henry.
Hello.
So today is our third episode of the Game of Thrones Scotch series, and today we're going to be reviewing Six Kingdoms. It's Mortlach 15. So Mortlach is a Speyside distillery. I've actually never had a Mortlach. Stopped short of buying it several times. For whatever reason, I don't recall. So this is going to be a new one for me. Henry, what can you tell us about the lore of this particular dram?
So I love what Diageo has done with this whole release, and this one actually came out at the end of the series. So this particular release is only 3 years old. It's a 15-year-old Scotch, and it's about the Three-Eyed Raven and also Brandon Stark becoming king. So what the Three-Eyed Raven is an immensely powerful green seer. And what a green seer is in the universe, the fictional universe of Game of Thrones, they can see everything past, present, and future. And Brandon Stark, being the most famous of these from the TV series, used this power to make himself the last king of Westeros for the TV series of Game of Thrones, which is the reason why this is in gold and also has the Three-Eyed Raven in front of it, because the Three-Eyed Raven became king. And the one thing that I'll put in here is an ad-lib and a sidebar. I was not happy about that. So we can talk about that later. We're here for the Scotch, but yeah, this is what this bottle represents.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So this one is, like I said, it's a Speyside. So let's go ahead and give it a pour and then nose it, taste it, and talk about it.
All right.
So the whiskey in this glass, very, kind of a crisp golden color, like a light gold. It's got some really good legs that you can see running down the side of the glass. There on the back end, you see that teardrop. So a lot of viscosity. I'll put my hand up here so that light in the background doesn't affect the color. But you kind of see what I'm talking about the golden crisp color. Really pretty whiskey. I would suspect that that Mortlach does not add color to to this whiskey. I may be wrong. If you know for sure, then just let me know in the comments below. But we're gonna go ahead and give this a taste. Well, Henry, thanks for sharing this bottle with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's go to the nose and see what we get.
Getting a little sweetness that I dive into there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe some of this, because this is aged in a ex-bourbon barrel, so I'm getting maybe a little bit of that influence coming off there.
Yeah, 15-year-old. What's the ABV on this one? 46%. So it's 92 proof.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is 92 proof, 46 ABV. You know what jumps out at me is I'm comparing it to Oban Gold Reserve that we reviewed. I'll put the card right here if you haven't seen that review. But the nose just falls flat for me on this one compared to the Oban. It's not even close.
I was going to say that, especially for this one having a higher age statement on it.
And higher proof.
Yeah, it doesn't really jump out as me as much. It doesn't feel like it has that much character.
Mm-mm. It's kind of boring.
On the nose.
Yeah, on the nose. It's sweet. I get maybe a little bit of oak. This is a Speyside as well, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got some typical Speyside notes, but it's almost like it's watered down. I mean, there's some apple, there's some citrus, maybe some like orange peel. Yeah, I think orange peel and like almost a lemongrass kind of thing.
Unfortunately, I get a little bit of that medicinal iodine smell off of this that comes with me for scotches, but it's not off-putting. It's just the smell of the base distillate.
Yeah. Well, let's give it a taste.
Go for it.
I swallowed wrong, so hang on. So I would say that this has a much better palate than the nose. The nose, it's disappointing on the nose.
Yeah.
But what it delivers, it packs a punch.
Man, you can
wild.
definitely get that ex-bourbon barrel off of here. A lot of vanilla coming off of this, quite a bit of vanilla, and a lot of spice on the back end too when you finish with this whiskey. But it's just, to me, as much as I can say about being a novice in Scotch, this is that's what I get out of this one. But it's delightful. It's extremely good pour.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's good. It's just the nose kind of, to me, whiskey, it's got a, I don't know. I think the nose is really important to me, because I'll sit there and nose, if it's a good pour, something I don't drink often, then, I kind of sit and nose it for 15 minutes sometimes. Yeah. In between sips, I just sit and think about it. And this one's just boring on the nose. It's just, there's nothing.
Yeah,
but then on the palate, I took a big drink and I had to cough off camera. I was like, what the heck? Yeah. So I wasn't expecting that. And so definitely the ABV showed up.
Yeah, a little bit. This is the highest proof that we've had today, but I will tell you, I just went back for my second sip on that. That pure vanilla just really jumps out at you. That makes this a delightful experience when it comes to the Scotch. So, especially with this one being the last release, and talking about the price on this, which we'll get into later. For the price point, this does deliver an experience. I wish it was a little bit better on the nose, but the palate definitely delivers.
I would say on the palate, I'm definitely getting that vanilla. It's almost like a vanilla extract, and it's very strong. The orange peel comes through, the oak spice. I still get some like lemon citrusy something in the back. So the finish doesn't really just linger that long. I get a sense that it's more on the front end of the palate. I don't know. It's just I'd say medium long finish. But yeah, that's kind of what I get out of it. I think it's a good whiskey. I like it.
Yeah, and
it's just for a 15-year-old, I kind of expected a better nose.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the breakdown on this bottle now, and price and availability. So keep in mind that this bottle did come out 3 years ago. So it's a 15-year-old, but the bottle came out 3 years ago when the show was over, because they couldn't come out and say that this was for the person that ended up getting to be the king of the Seven Kingdoms, because that would spoil the show. The price on this, when I bought this particular bottle, was $150. I checked online, and prices vary from like $120 to $160. So you're looking at, there might be a little bit of a price variance there. I feel like with these still sitting on the shelves, that stores may want to move them. Do not overpay for this bottle. Pay MSRP for it. Definitely it's a cool experience for somebody who's a collector, or somebody who actually likes this brand would enjoy this pour, but I would not pay secondary pricing for this particular bottle.
That's good to know. So, as far as availability, do you see it often anymore in stores?
Yeah, so this is still in a few stores here in Central Arkansas. So you're talking about Colonial, Crossroads, and Warehouse Liquor downtown Little Rock. Still have some of these floating around. I don't know about this specific bottle, but you can still find these probably somewhere locally if you did a little bit of hunting. But once again, these are limited releases. They're out of production. They won't have any more. So whatever you find is going to be there. And if you are a collector of Scotch, or you want a nice piece of memorabilia for the show, I would go after this bottle.
Awesome. So we got to give this a rating. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Our criteria for the rating is availability, taste, and value. We take those 3 things into consideration. So Henry, my friend, where are you at?
Man, I'm going to have to hit this one a little bit harder, because it is double the price of the other releases. And of course, what they have on the bottle, for me as a fan, I wasn't happy with the ending. I'm going to say 6.75. And I still think it's a good experience. It's a good Scotch. But for the price and what it represents for me, that's going to kind of drive me on what I think about this bottle.
I'm a little further down the totem pole on my take on this. I'm going to give it a 5. It's the price that gets me. If this was a $40 bottle, then I'd be like, man, this is good for $40.
Yeah.
It's just there's no nose. The palate, it's a bunch of spice that punches you real fast, and you get those intense flavors real fast, and then it kind of disappears. I know I said it's a medium to long finish, But what I mean by this particular finish is I can still get a hint of what I drank in comparison to, like, I'll put a card there again when we're talking about the Oban Gold Reserve. Is that what it was called? That lasted for like 5 minutes. It was insane. And for the price, it's, man, I don't want to pay $150 for that. If I'm going to start collecting these, because now you kind of got me wanting to collect these myself, I'm going to do it eventually, but I'm not going to like buying that.
Well, look here, you can find it for a bargain. I've seen some places online that had it, I think, as low as $103. So, like I said, these things have been sitting around, and stores will want to move them, so you might be able to reach out to your local store and make a deal and try to get you a bottle.
Maybe
For
so.
the last of this lineup, it really needs to stand out. It needs to be the best of the best, and it really needs to represent this show. And I could go into a diatribe about Game of Thrones and how it went from its appointment TV still. In a world of streaming, it started off as a show that you had to be at your TV at 8 or 9 o'clock to watch it, to it went to streaming, but still people kept it as appointment TV. People will still sit down on Sundays, 8 o'clock, and watch the show. House of Dragons is back on. So that's the thing that I think is so amazing about what represents this show and the Scotch. But this does not land with what the show represents, in my humble opinion.
Appointment TV, I've never heard that. Those were the days. Henry, thanks for stopping by and sharing this bottle with us today.
Thank you, and we'll make sure that we see everybody on Sundays when the show is going to be airing. So, House of the Dragon Season 2.
That's right. So if you like this content, go ahead and like, subscribe, and smash that bell. If you smash that bell, you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video, and we will continue our Game of Thrones Scotch series. So thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.